She spent an entire day making homemade truffles, woke up at dawn to finish them, drove across town to deliver them on time. But when she arrived at the party venue, the doors were locked. The party had started 3 hours earlier. Her friend had changed the time and forgot to tell her. The truffles she'd poured hours into were meant to be a gift. Now she was sending an invoice. Her friend called it petty, said it was an honest mistake, that she was being vindictive over a simple as communication. But the truffles cost money. Real money. And the hours she'd spent making them couldn't be given back. So she made a choice. If they weren't going to be a gift, they were going to be a transaction. And now their entire friend group was picking sides over chocolate and principle. This isn't a story about a birthday party. It's about what happens when your time and effort become invisible to someone who asked for them. When a favor turns into a burden you're expected to absorb without complaint. And when standing up for yourself makes you look petty, even though you're the one who got hurt. It's about the exact moment generosity curdles into resentment and whether you're allowed to ask for what you're owed. Her friend's daughter was turning 1. A few weeks ago, the friend reached out with a request. Could she make truffles for the party? Homemade chocolate truffles, the expensive kind, the labor-intensive kind. She said yes, because that's what friends do. The friend mentioned she'd reimburse her for ingredients, which was thoughtful. Truffles aren't cheap to make. Quality chocolate, cream, specific flavorings. The ingredients alone can run high. But she decided to do something generous. Instead of asking for reimbursement, she'd make the truffles her gift to the baby. A handmade, expensive, thoughtful present. The kind that takes real time and real skill. She spent the entire previous day in the kitchen, hours of tempering chocolate, rolling truffles, getting the coating perfect. It's not simple work. It's precise, demanding, the kind of thing you can't rush or half do. She had to wake up early the next morning to finish, to make sure everything was perfect, to pack them carefully so they wouldn't get damaged during transport. The party was scheduled for 1 p.m. She had the time confirmed, had planned her whole day around it, made sure she'd arrive on time with the truffles in perfect condition. She drove across town, 30 minutes in traffic, found the venue, pulled into the parking lot. The doors were locked. The parking lot was empty. Nobody was there. She checked her phone, checked the address, checked the time. 1 p.m., exactly when the party was supposed to start. But there was no party. She called her friend. No answer. Texted. No response. She sat in her car, confused, holding containers of expensive homemade truffles, wondering if she'd somehow gotten the day wrong. Finally, her friend texted back. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We had to move the party to 10 a.m. because of the venue. I thought I told everyone." She hadn't told everyone. She hadn't told her. The party had started 3 hours ago, was probably almost over by now. She'd missed it entirely. Not because she forgot, not because she didn't care, because she was never informed. She sat there processing all that work, all those hours, the early morning, the careful transport, for nothing. She texted back. "I spent all day yesterday making these and woke up early to finish them. I was going to give them as my gift, but since I missed the party, I'll need you to pay me for the ingredients and time." The response came quickly. Her friend was apologetic but defensive. Said it was an honest mistake, that she'd been so busy with party prep that she must have forgotten to update her, that she shouldn't be asking for money over an accident. But it wasn't just an accident to her. It was her entire day yesterday, her morning today, the money she'd spent on premium ingredients, the gift she'd planned to give, now sitting uselessly in her car. Here's what made it worse. Her friend had asked her to make these. This wasn't a surprise gift she'd decided to create unprompted. It was a specific request. Her friend knew how much work truffles were, knew they were expensive, had even offered to pay for ingredients originally. But the moment the mistake happened, suddenly she was supposed to absorb all of it. The wasted time, the wasted money, the wasted effort. Because asking to be compensated made her look petty. If she'd been hired to make these truffles for a client and the client had given her the wrong time, everyone would agree she deserved to be paid. The work was done. The The product existed. The mistake wasn't hers. But because it was a friendship, because it was supposed to be a gift, she was expected to just let it go. Smile and say it's fine. Pretend that a full day of labor and significant money meant nothing. Her friend's mistake had turned her generous gift into a burden she was now stuck with. Truffles she couldn't use, money she couldn't recover, time she'd never get back. And asking for basic compensation for that was being characterized as vindictive. The friend offered to take the truffles anyway, said they could still use them at the party even though it was almost over, said she shouldn't waste them. But that wasn't the point. The point was that she'd been asked to contribute something specific, had gone above and beyond what was requested, and was now being told that her effort didn't matter enough to warrant basic consideration. She sent an itemized list. Ingredients cost. Her hourly rate for the time spent, calculated conservatively. She wasn't trying to profit, just trying to break even on something that was supposed to be a gift, but couldn't be because of someone else's oversight. Her friend refused to pay, said she was being ridiculous, that friends don't charge each other for honest mistakes, that she was turning something small into something huge out of spite. Other friends got involved, the ones who'd actually made it to the party. They'd seen the event, enjoyed themselves, celebrated the baby. They didn't understand why she was making such a big deal out of missing it. Some sided with her. Said the friend should have been more careful about communicating a major time change. That forgetting to tell someone who was making the food was a significant oversight. Others said she was being petty, that asking for money over a birthday party mix-up was inappropriate, that she was valuing money over friendship. But she wasn't valuing money over friendship. She was asking friendship to value her time and money. There's a difference. She stuck to her position, said she'd either be paid for the work or she'd keep the truffles. That she wasn't going to donate a full day of labor and significant expense to a party she wasn't even invited to attend, regardless of whether the exclusion was intentional. The friend group fractured. Half thought she was right to ask, half thought she was being unreasonable. The friend stopped responding to her messages entirely. She kept the truffles, ended up giving them to co-workers, who were thrilled. At least someone appreciated the work. Her friend posted photos from the party on social media. Happy baby, decorated venue, friends and family celebrating. No mention of the truffles that were supposed to be there. No acknowledgement of the mistake. They haven't spoken since, not directly. There's been no apology beyond the initial, "Sorry, I forgot to tell you." No recognition that the oversight cost her anything meaningful. Other friends have tried to mediate, suggested they both just move on, that the friendship is more important than the money, that they're both being stubborn, but moving on would mean she accepts that her time and effort can be wasted without consequence. That when she does something generous, she's not owed even basic consideration in return. The friendship might be over chocolate truffles and a changed party time, which sounds absurd when said out loud. But it's not really about that. It's about being asked to contribute, choosing to contribute generously, and then being told that your contribution doesn't matter enough to protect. This story is about the hidden cost of emotional labor and creative work, about how certain types of effort become invisible because they're given in the context of friendship or love, about how asking to be compensated for real work makes you look materialistic, even when the person who wasted that work faces no accountability. Homemade gifts occupy a strange space. They're supposed to be more meaningful than bought presents, more personal, more valuable because of the time and care invested. But when something goes wrong, that value evaporates. Suddenly they're just homemade, just something you made. No big deal. You can make more. Why are you being so serious about it? The friend didn't forget to confirm the time with the venue, didn't forget to tell the family members, didn't forget to arrange the decorations. Those things were important enough to remember. But telling the person making the food, that slipped through. Because subconsciously, that contribution was less critical, less valued, more replaceable. And when confronted with the impact of that oversight, the response wasn't accountability. It was defensiveness, making her feel unreasonable for expecting her work to be protected with the same care given to other party elements. This is the particular burden of being good at making things. People ask you for favors because you have skills they don't. Then they treat the results of those skills as less valuable than what money can buy. Because you made it yourself, it doesn't count the same way. She was being generous, turned a reimbursed favor into a gift, then got told she was petty for wanting compensation when that gift became impossible through no fault of her own. So here's what you have to decide. Was she wrong to charge her friend after missing the party? Should she have just absorbed the loss and moved on? When someone asks you to create something, forgets to give you critical information and makes your work useless, are you entitled to compensation? Or is asking for it petty? If homemade gifts are supposed to be more valuable than store-bought ones, why is the work that goes into them treated as worthless when something goes wrong? And when does a mistake stop being an accident you should forgive and start being a cost someone else should cover? Where do you draw that line? Because she drew hers, and she's not sure she has a friend anymore because of it.